everybody, and welcome.
The boss jock has entered the building. You are listening to the Sportcat Show.
I don't know if I'm the boss jock today. I'm feeling kind of down, kind of tired. All right, let's see what we've got here. I saw some people in the chat. We have Denise. Welcome, Denise. I'm glad you're here. We have Brenda. Welcome, Brenda. We have KG. Welcome. Chris, you're always there. Love you. Love you. Glad you're here. I am here and excited because, well, it's Friday. And you know what that means. That means I get a day off. At least until this Big Brother season gets over with. Then I'll have 2 days off. So then I'm thinking about another show, but
you are fake news.
Well, there is that too. I'm thinking about doing another show, but I got to find a cohort. On weekends, one of my favorite TV shows is On Patrol, which is known as Live PD. It's on Peacock. And I am I watch it. I love it, especially since they have Knox County, which is where, I'm partially from, Tennessee. And I would like to have a show after On Patrol. So it would be a really late night show on, what would it be? Let's see. It would be on at midnight, at least midnight 30 Eastern. And we could talk about the show. So if anybody's interested in doing that, let me know, because I think that'd be kind of fun. We could talk about all things law enforcement, public safety, and
they love pedophilia. They love devil worship.
Yeah, we'll talk about them too. So, all right, let's stop this silliness and get into some real stuff. I want to thank everybody at Yerg's Radio. We are live on Yerg's Radio, Rainbow Radio, Forward Talk Radio, Mastiff Media. I probably forgot somebody. We're also live on Radio X in Australia. Welcome to all of our listeners in Australia. We welcome you. As we can see there, it's bright and early, 3 a.m. in the morning in Sydney. And in Perth, it is 1 a.m. So I'm talking to you in the overnight hours. But welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We appreciate you. Please come over and find us on the YouTubes under the Sportcat shows. Or you can find us under the Para are Normal. 3 words, guys, Guyz, and check us out. I think you'll enjoy us. We're kind of goofy. At least that's what my fans tell me. So, all right. Well, we start off every show with a little history lesson, because why not? We could always use some history, right? In 1587, missionaries are banished from Japan, concerned that too many lords were converting. Japanese leader Toyomichi Hideyoshi, I probably butchered that, issues an etiquette that bans Christian missionaries from Japan. Many continued to operate in secret, however, which led to the crucifixion of 26 Christians in Nagasaki. In 1597, Christianity was largely banned in Japan. In 1614, a ban that remained in place until 1873. Well, it's interesting. My son said he wanted to go to Japan and move to Japan. Like, why? He's like, the weather's great. There's no crime. I don't know. I don't want to go there. And Chris says, I fell asleep during the big chat last night. It wasn't the content. I too was exhausted, and I still am. Yeah, the big chat last night, if you don't know, that is a show I do following CBS's Big Brother on, well, we do it on Thursday nights. We're doing a show tonight because they're having as a matter of fact, I need to get that cleared through Radio X and Yerg's Radio to make sure we can go live there. If not, please come over and find us on YouTube. We do it on all the season 27 shows. We do it every Thursday night and then every Sunday night. And we are having a special tonight because that's right, Chris. Because we have the Sportcat Unlocked. That could be the name of a new show. Sportcat goes wild. Big Brother Unlocked. They have Taylor Hale and Derek Levasseur, both winners of Big Brother, are going to be doing a special where they review the past 25 seasons. So check that out tonight. I'll have to make sure Chris, shoot me a message and remind me. I have to make sure I get that cleared with Radio X and Yerg's Radio if I can go live there. If I can't and you want to watch it, you can come over and find us on the interwebs under the YouTubes. Para are normal. 3 words, para are normal. Guys with a Z. Or you can just search up the Sportcat shows and find me. You'll see my ugly mug there, and yeah, it's a sin. Chris, yes, like and subscribe. He says, I've let you guys off the hook long enough. He means business. Better take him serious. He's been working out, so he's getting buff. I need to go work out. I need a workout buddy in Atlanta. So if anybody wants to work out, let me know. 1832, the first railroad accident takes place in the U.S. America's first railroad accident takes place in Quincy, Massachusetts. 4 people stand atop a vacant car were thrown off after a cable snap. They fell off the train and down a 34-foot drop where 3 were injured. 1 died. Interesting. Emmett Till was born in 1941. He's born in Chicago, Illinois. Just 14 years later, he was gruesomely murdered in Money, Mississippi after he was accused of catcalling a white woman storekeeper. Till's mother, Mamie Till Mobley, famously kept his coffin open at his funeral, and the resulting photographs of the 14-year-old's battered body helped spark their burgeoning. They helped spark the civil rights movement. I'm glad they didn't show that photo there. 1946, the Test Baker nuclear test takes place. The American military conducts Test Baker, exploding a nuclear bomb 90 feet below the waters of the Bikini Atoll. The blast created a towering spray dome, as well as tsunami with waves as high as 100 feet. Whew. They also may have, on one of their tests I just saw, they released video. Well, it wasn't video. They released stills from and information about, I guess it had been one of those top secret things. They think they may have launched the first thing into space in the U.S. while they were doing a test. Apparently a manhole cover blew off and went into space and is still orbiting. That's when they were doing a nuclear test. You know, that was a time that I wish we could erase. There's lots of times in history you wish you could erase. I wish we could erase the weaponry. The military has to weaponize everything. I wish, because it's the world's worst weapon. We lived in fear, and it appears we're going to be living in fear of it again. So 1972, the Tuskegee experiment is revealed. Well, the U.S. public learns about the Tuskegee experiment for the first time. The experiment, which endured from 1932 to 72, studied the progression of untreated syphilis in poor black men. But the men didn't know about their experiment, and some of them unknowingly passed it on to their families. Another thing in history I wish we could erase. Judith Barcy is murdered by her father in Los Angeles. The 10-year-old child actress made famous for herself by appearing in shows like Cheers and the film Jaws, The Revenge, but her home life was volatile. Her husband, Joseph, abused both Judith and her mother and murdered them both before he turned the gun on himself. Chris says they created a 100-foot tall tsunami, though, yet the first atomic bomb is a great idea. Let's build thousands of them. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Didn't we also just totally evaporate an island too? Wasn't that part of it? We had some big test where we totally blew an island off the face of the planet. And then we also discharged one of those weapons in space to see what it would do. What were we thinking? Let's see. Let's skip ahead a little bit because we need to talk about stuff we know, even though history is good. 1944, World War II. Speaking of bombs, World War II Operation Spring is one of Canada's bloodiest, with 1,444 casualties, including 441 killed in a single day. Yeah, and let's repeat that today. What do you think? Seems like a good idea, right? 1937, scientists announced the first human stem cells can be cultured in a laboratory using tissues taken from aborted human embryos. So it was 1997, and they could create tissues. Wonder, or they were creating stem cell. Wonder if they figured out how to clone a human. Maybe we had our first clone as president. I don't know, just saying. 1946, Dean Martin and Jerry Lee Lewis staged their first show as a comedy team at the 500 Club in Atlantic City, New Jersey. He used to do a telethon too, so that's funny. Chris says, but my plastic bags, grocery bags, are going to is what is killing our environment. That and those little pods for their coffee. Two of the worst inventions as well. Paper bags. Why couldn't we have them back? 1965, Bob Dylan is booed by sections of the crowd at the Newport Folk Fair for performing with an electric guitar, beginning the era of folk rock. Wow, I didn't know that. 1975, Marvin Hamlisch and Edward Caban created musical chorus line. It opened at the Schubert Theater in New York, setting a record for the longest running Broadway show, 6,137 performances, and winning 10 Tony Awards. In 1999, the 86th Tour de France, Lance Armstrong was the first of 7 consecutive Tour de France titles, but remember he got disqualified for doping. And didn't they later say that no, it didn't violate? Seems like maybe they said something later that they took it back, but I don't know. All right, so National Day calendar. What is today? July 25th. It's National Wine and Cheese Day. Okay, I'm down. It's National Hire Veteran Day. Always a good idea. National Hot Fudge Sundae Day. Ooh, I like that one. Wasn't the brownies from Shoney the hot fudge cake? Oh, that was, man, fat kid's dream. National Merry-Go-Round Day. My granddaughter actually just rode her first merry-go-round the other day. National Thread the Needle Day. National Get Gnarly Day. Okay. Get gnarly. That's an old term I haven't heard. National Talk in an Elevator Day. When I'm in an elevator, I don't want to talk to anybody. System Administrator Appreciation Day. All right. So everybody go hug your system administrator so that you can get clocked out extra early today. The last Friday in July provides an opportunity to embrace new ideas and toss out old ways on National Get Gnarly Day. Much like surfers challenging the waves, Get Gnarly Day challenges us to put some gnarliness into everything we do. Hashtag National Get Gnarly Day. The word gnarly seems to have originated in the 1960s by surfers as a description of waves while surfing. Any surfer knows the water in a wave can appear dangerous, scary, but also can be exciting. If you could ride the wave, surfers would respond with a gnarly dude. Interestingly, gnarly was carried over into the 1980s in pop culture slang, meaning excellent or gross. All right, so here's 5 ways you can get gnarly today. All right. Chris, I agree. Elevator talk is the absolute worst. I don't want to talk to you in the grocery store. I don't want to talk to you in the elevator. Just leave me alone. Number 1, find a gnarly hobby. Ooh, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Hulda Crooks was born in 1896, didn't start hiking and climbing until she was 54 years old after her husband's death. While she was an active jogger and walker prior to his death, she by no means qualified as a mountain climber. She first scaled Mount Whitney in California, the highest summit in the continuous United States, at the age of 66. She completed a total of 23 ascents of Mount Whitney at the age of 91. Climbed Mount Fuji in Japan. She climbed Mount Fuji in Japan. Mountain climbing add, quote, gnarliness to her life. Well, I have been ignoring my other hobby, disc golf. Meet gnarly people. Well, that's why I'm on here. All you guys and gals. Meet gnarly people, take a cooking class, volunteer for a local charity, accept those invites you previously declined, step out of your comfort zone from time to time, introduce yourself to different experiences, and meet new people. It will make for a gnarly social circle. All right. Well, I have a gnarly social circle here, and I also have a gnarly social circus. Yeah, it is that. On Facebook, you can find the Sportcat Daily Gazette group on Facebook and join it and get gnarly. There you go. Get a gnarly passport. I was just talking to my wife about this. A first-time passport costs $135, including fees, can take up to 6 weeks. If gnarliness is a true new way of life, you'll want to have a passport. Gnarly people are world travelers. Even if travelers' plans are not immediate, having a passport places the potential of global travel within reach, and potential is pretty gnarly. Yes, I did talk to Mrs. Sportcat about that. We're talking about my son moving to Japan. He's not, but we were talking about it, and I said, well, you need to get a passport. She's like, why? We never go anywhere. I'm like, but we could. Find a gnarly new style, redecorate a room in the house, or find a fresh hairstyle. Both can revitalize an attitude and an outlook on life. Gather a group of friends and take turns helping paint a room in each other's home a gnarly color. The gnarly part, the homeowner doesn't get to pick the color. Be kind, though. Turn around is fair play. Good Lord, that's loud enough. Apply the same ideas to a hairstyle or makeover. Okay. Well, I did come home and find some gnarly new shelves on my wall that I don't know what to do with. So throw a gnarly party. Celebrate all this gnarliness. Is something to share, so be sure to let the enthusiasm show. Invite those new friends to fully incorporate them into your gnarly social circle. Show the stamps in your gnarly passport and take lots of photos to document your National Gnarly Day. Well, everybody have a happy National Gnarly Day. If you do something truly gnarly, share it with us. Come over and find us on Facebook in the Facebook group, the Sportcat Daily Gazette, and share your gnarliness. All right, annexation of Guanacaste Day. All right, it's Carousel Day. We talked about that. Commemoration of the assault on Moncada. Calarians Day. I think it's Culinaries. Darwin Show Day. Feast of St. James. Fiesta de Santiago in Nicaragua. Let's see. Health and Happiness with Hypnosis Day. Has anybody ever been hypnotized? Houston Day. International Red Shoe Day. National Drowning Prevention Day. We talked about Hire a Veteran Day. Merry-Go-Round Day. Talking in an elevator. There you go, Chris. Let's see. Wine and Cheese. Puerto Rican Constitution Day. St. James. System Administrator Day. Make sure to love your system administrator. Let's see. Let's catch up in the chat here. It says, you don't want to talk to me in an elevator. I don't want to talk to you. We both this to be the case. Let's both just face the fact as a beautiful memory of our very brief friendship. Yes, just nod. Do the head nod. Huh? Yeah. Hey, how you doing? So, has anybody ever been hypnotized? We have a great show with a hypnotist. He's going to become a regular when we can work it out. And he has lots of fun. He can tell some good stories. He has a great backstory, too. I was going to look at one of these, but I forgot which one. I've lost my train of thought totally. International Red Shoe Day. I don't have any red shoes. I don't know. Must not have been important. And I was going to research one of these and see something, but I don't know which one it was. So, okay, we'll move on. That's right. Chris says, I would only let Australian Mark hypnotize me. Funny enough, we need a volunteer on the show to get hypnotized when we next do him. So I'll hit you up for that. All right. So this was breaking news that started earlier today, and I wanted to continue talking about it. University of New Mexico, Casa del Rio, a student housing complex in Albuquerque, has had a shooting that's left one dead, and apparently the shooter is still on the loose. It occurred early Friday morning, the University of New Mexico, and the police report that the gunman is still at large. They believe he is on campus. 2 people were shot. One individual is reported to have died, and another sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Multiple law enforcement agencies are on the scene. They have closed their central campus, and people are advised to shelter in place and avoid the area. Local law enforcement requests that anyone with tips call in. If you have any information, call University of New Mexico PD at 505-277-2441 or crimestopper.nm.com. And I think they're also on Facebook. So if anybody has any information, out of abundance of caution, they have closed. I've got another article here. Let's see if there's any updates. This one was live. Let's see here. Let me update this. So the search still continues. It's 11:01 their time in Albuquerque. It's a shelter-in-place order. They received a report of a shooting at the complex at 420 Redondo Drive in the University of New Mexico. When officers arrived, they found 2 people had been shot. One was dead. Others received non-life-threatening injuries. State police say the suspect is still on the run. Okay, so if you're in the Albuquerque, New Mexico area, take cover, get your tool to remain safe. I don't know what you want to call it. Your force protector. How about that? Okay, well, you know what I'm talking about. All right, this comes to us from 95.5 WSB here in Atlanta. A Georgia grandmother, who's an Army veteran, she is praised for stopping unruly passengers on a Delta flight. A Georgia grandmother is earning national praise after stepping up to stop an unruly passenger from storming the cockpit on a Delta flight. Nicole Pruitt, a U.S. Army veteran and grandmother of 7, was on board the flight when chaos broke out. She told ABC News she acted out of concern for her safety and that of fellow passengers. I got her down on the ground. It wasn't hard to do because I was thinking she wasn't expecting it. She was very strong, but my determination was even stronger. FAA confirmed the woman on board was experiencing a medical emergency. The flight temporarily returned to Atlanta to remove the passenger before continuing to its original destination. Yes, get your lightsaber. There you go. Get your lightsaber, your boomstick. I wonder what kind of medical emergency. Was she a diabetic? Well, I'll follow up on that. Well, maybe we can do it right here. I don't know. No. I was trying to think of a way to search this real quick, but we'll see. We'll search Georgia grandmother. Good Lord, that could come up with something crazy on my screen. Maybe I shouldn't do this. So we want news. We want the most recent article, and none in the past hour. Okay, well, how about the past 24 hours? I want more information. All right, well, don't have anything there. My bad. All right, we'll move on. If anybody gets any info or updates on that, let me know, because I'd like to find out a little more info. All right, so we're going to jump to MSN. Yes, I know. We don't like to use them for news, but occasionally they hit the head on the nail. Did local councilwoman urge gangs to organize over LA ice raids? Well, here's what we know. Like I said, this comes from MSNBC. Cynthia Gonzalez, a vice mayor of the Southeast Los Angeles County suburb in Kadari, is coming under fire for a video she posted on social media in which she appeared to call on street gangs to organize in the face of immigration sweeps. But an attorney for her says the message was only meant to encourage peaceful demonstrations against such operations, not violence. I'll show you the video in a minute. She said, I want to know where all the cholos are in Los Angeles. You guys tag everything up claiming hood, and now your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang. There isn't a peep out of you. It's everyone else's who's not about gang life that's out there protesting and speaking up. We're out there fighting our turf, protecting our people, and where are y'all at? Well, where are you at? I did the y'all. The video seemed to suggest she was calling on gang members to help organize and urge street gang leaders to get the effing members in order. Wow. She made reference to Florencia 13 and 18th Street, 2 violent gangs in LA. The statement Wednesday, she said, any suggestions that she advocated for violence is categorically false and without merit. In her post, Dr. Gonzalez, I wonder what kind of doctor she is, issued a challenge to the Latino community, joining thousands of Angelinos already peacefully organizing in response to ongoing enforcement actions. The statement reads in part, importantly, Dr. Gonzalez in no way encouraged anyone to engage in violence. The statement, in which did not make any reference to her comments about street gangs, came amid reports of federal investigation over the video, as well as public backlash from law enforcement groups and federal authorities. According to Fox News, boy, that's funny, MSN reporting on Fox News, which first reported on the video. It's funny, the only one that reported it was Fox. Sometimes you do get some real news out of both of these. So Gonzalez was allegedly being, quote, investigated over whether she had called on street gangs to use violence against federal immigration agents. Spokeswoman for the FBI would not confirm or deny that the vice mayor was under investigation per agency policy. Generally speaking, of course, the FBI condemns any calls for violence of targeting of law enforcement with violence, she said. Okay, hold on a minute. Hold on, back up here. This is a quote. Generally speaking, of course, the FBI condemns any calls for violence or targeting of law enforcement with violence. Generally speaking, I'm not sure that's a good quote. The Los Angeles Police Protective League, the union representing thousands of sworn officers, called for the vice mayor's resignation and possible prosecution. What Mrs. Gonzalez urged and taunted these specific gangs to do in her social media posts put police officers and other law enforcement professionals at great risk. Her actions are deplorable and potentially illegal. She should resign and she should be prosecuted if what she did broke the law. The union said both gangs have been involved in the murders of two police officers in 1988. An 18th Street gang member murdered LAPD officer Filiberto Cosente. Recently, several Florencia gang members were convicted of the 2022 murder of LAPD officer Fernando Arroas. In a post, the Department of Homeland Security called her actions despicable and accused her of calling the gangs out. Well, this is the video. Of course, you can once you put anything on the internet, it's always up. So I won't play the audio. But read here, unless the audio is going out. It says that she is a Democrat who must be innocent of these accusations. I don't know if you can hear the audio or not. It's everyone else. Yeah. And speaking up. Oh. Where you at? Yeah. And she's a doctor. She's a doctor. If you're reading these headlines, I don't know if you can hear the audio, but shame on her. You're trying to do the thing. Oh. Wow. I don't know if anybody could hear the audio, but you could see the text on screen. I think it's pretty clear what she was calling out. Chris says that she's a Democrat. She must be innocent. So she can't hear the audio. It must be the loudness of her lipstick muffling the sound. Okay, I just got a message that Julian LaFay passed away, but that was on July 22nd. I'm not sure even who Julian LaFay is. He was the father of the Elder Scrolls, died at 59. Okay. I'll have to research that. Somebody messaged me that in private chat. So yeah, local councilwoman, according to her, Dr. Gonzalez, didn't do what they're saying she did. Yeah. All right. Elon Musk's Starlink hit with major outage, leaving thousands without internet. Elon Musk's satellite internet service was down for several hours after a network outage. Well, it's working to resolve a major outage that occurred Thursday. More than 60,000 users reported issues, according to data tracker Down Detector. which the company acknowledged late Thursday afternoon. Now, several hours, the service is back up and running. The company initially wrote on X that experiencing network outage and working to actively implement a solution. We appreciate your patience. Well, all right. The service will be restored shortly, he wrote in a quote. He added that SpaceX will remedy root cause to ensure it doesn't happen again. All right. Well, apparently it was down for a while. Yesterday, there were several things that went down. We had Yahoo was down. AOL was down. Anybody still use AOL? Apparently they do. All right, Chris, here's a chance to get your quote in. My Australian peeps, this comes to us from Reuters News. It says, Trump says U.S. will sell, quote, so much beef to Australia. Australia, where's the beef? In Washington, Canberra, July 25th, U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday applauded Australia's relaxing import restrictions on the United States beef, adding that other countries that refused the U.S. beef products were on notice. Australia on Thursday said it would loosen biosecurity rules for U.S. beef, something analysts predicted would significantly increase U.S. shipments because Australia is a major beef producer and exporters whose prices are much lower. Australia plans to take U.S. beef for the first time, Trump said in a post on Truth Social Thursday. It's a very big market. Canberra has restricted U.S. beef imports since 2003 due to concerns of bovine spongiform encephalopathy, a mad cow disease. Okay. Since 2019, it has allowed the meat from animals born, raised, and slaughtered in the U.S., but few suppliers were able to prove that their cattle had not been in Canada and Mexico. Last night, on another Truth Social post, Trump said the U.S. would, quote, sell so much to Australia because this is undeniable and irrefutable proof that U.S. beef is the safest and best in the entire world. The other countries that refuse our magnificent beef, beware, you are on notice, the post continued. Trump has attempted to renegotiate trade deals with numerous countries he says have taken advantage of the United States, a characterization many economists dispute. For decades, Australia imposed unjustified barriers on U.S. beef. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer said in a statement, calling Australia's decision a major milestone in lowering trade barriers and securing market access from U.S. farmers and ranchers. Australia is not a significant importer of beef, but the United States is a production slump, forcing it to step up purchases. Last year, Australia shipped out 400,000 metric tons of beef, worth $2.9 million to the United States, with just 269 tons of U.S. production moving the other way. Australian officials say the relaxation of restrictions was not part of any trade negotiations, but the results of a year-long assessment of the biosecurity practices in the U.S. On Wednesday, Agriculture Administrator from Australia said the U.S. cattle traceability and control system has improved enough that Australia could accept beef from cattle born in Canada or Mexico and slaughtered in the United States. So, do they get a green card when they cross the border? Just asking for a friend. Never mind. So, where did I leave off here? They said that they're going to be importing it if they were slaughtered in Mexico, Canada, United States. The decision has caused some concern in Australia, where biosecurity is seen as essential to prevent diseases and pests from ravaging the farm sector. We need to know if the government is sacrificing our high biosecurity standards just so Prime Minister Anthony Albanese can obtain a meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump. A shadow agriculture minister, David Littleproud, said in a statement. Australia, which imports more from the U.S. than it exports, faces a 10% across-the-board U.S. tariff, as well as 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum. Trump has also threatened to impose a 200% tax on pharmaceuticals. Asked whether the change would help achieve a trade deal, Australian Trade Minister Don Farrell said, "I'm not too sure. We haven't done this in order to entice the Americans into a trade agreement," he said. "We think they should do that anyways." All right, well. Chris says, here we go. I needed this. All right. Many people have said they are now interested in my big beef. Nobody has ever seen a desire for American beef as strong or large. I love it, Chris. I love it.
They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
There you go.
I'm going to come.
Well, there's that too. So
I'm a fan, but I never listen to the Sportcat show.
Whoa, Press. Calm down now. There's no need to be mean. So, all right, this comes to us from The Guardian. We're terribly sorry. This, if you were listening to Yergs on Radio X in Australia and Rainbow Radio and Right Talk Radio and, I don't know, Dare Media. If you were listening in all those places, you probably heard Yergs talking about this. This comes to us from The Guardian. We're terribly sorry. South Park creators respond with humor to White House anger over naked Donald Trump. Speaking at a Comic-Con on Thursday, Trey Parker and Matt Stone revealed they spent days negotiating with the producers to show the U.S. president's genitals. What? Why are you?
I'm going to come.
South Park creator Trey Parker had the briefest of responses on Thursday to anger the White House over the latest season, which premieres with a naked Donald Trump in bed with Satan. What? What? I don't know about this.
You are fake news.
Well, I am. So we're terribly sorry, he said, followed by a long deadpan comic stare. He was asked for his reaction to the fracas on the stage at San Diego's Comic-Con International, beginning of the animation panel that also included his South Park partner, Matt Stone. Beavis and Butthead creator Mike Judge and actor Andy Samberg, who co-created the animated Digiman. Earlier in the day, the White House issued a statement on the 27th season premiere episode, which aired Wednesday night. Unlike other characters in the animated show, Trump is depicted as an actual photo of the U.S. president on an animated body. There's also an extended scene featuring a hyper-realistic deepfake video of Trump completely naked, walking in a desert, and repeated suggestions that Trump's genitalias are small. What? Why are we?
No, for your information, I have full-size balls.
So I just don't understand. Later in the panel, Trump said they did get a note from producers on the episode. They said, okay, we're going to blur the penis. What?
I'm going to come.
I don't understand. He added the team decided to put eyes on the penis, which would make it a character. If we put eyes on the penis, we won't blur it. So Trump's tiny penis was a character? What?
They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
The premiere aim took at Paramount Plus in its recent $16 million settlement with Trump. Just hours after Parker and Stone signed a $1.5 billion, that's billion, 5-year deal with the company for 50 new episodes and streaming rights to previous seasons. In the episode, Trump sues the town of South Park when its residents challenge the president's presence of Jesus Christ, the actual person, in an elementary school. Jesus tells them they ought to settle. You guys know what happened to CBS. Yeah, well, guess who owns CBS? Paramount, Jesus says. Do you really want to end up like Colbert? Good Lord, they were really going after him. Oh, wow. Do you want to end up like Colbert? Well, he's still getting paid. CBS parent company Global canceled Colbert's Late Show days after he sharply criticized Paramount's settlement of Trump's lawsuit over a 60 Minutes interview. CBS and Paramount executives have said the decision to axe the Late Show was purely financial. The efficiency of South Park Productions, each episode is made in just a few days and can be finished within hours of going to air. Allows it to stay incredibly current for an animated series. I don't know what the next week's episode is going to be. Parker said at Comic-Con, even just 3 days ago, we were like, I don't know if people are going to like this. Okay, so We don't like Stephen Colbert and watch him, but we will watch an animated penis. I don't understand.
You are fake news.
I don't get it. So, all right. Well, if you want to check it out, South Park is streaming on Paramount Plus. You can check. I don't know. I got nothing. Chris says the Trump dumps always get him. And there are grown adults in a multi-billion-dollar industry having talks and negotiation on penises with eyes in it. Yes, making billions of dollars, but yet they fire Colbert. Well, Colbert was making $15 million an episode or something, some ridiculous number, and he wasn't getting ratings or he wasn't getting advertisement, and that is what makes all these shows go round and round. Except for me, I have no endorsers, I have no advertisers. It's just little old me here talking about such crazy things out of KTLA in LA. News 5: serial butt sniffer arrested again in Burbank. That's right. A man has been arrested multiple times for sniffing women's rear ends while in public, and he was arrested again this week for the same crime. Carlise Karen Crowder, 38, was arrested by officers with the Burbank Police Department at a Walmart located in the Empire City Shopping Center on Victory Place. Somebody please tell me what cartoon character with those ears sticking out like that he reminds me of. Police had originally responded to a nearby Nordstrom rack in the shopping center for a report of a suspicious man loitering in the women's department. When officers arrived, they were informed the suspect had already left the department store, but he was located a short while later across the street in a Walmart. Officers used security cameras to follow him as he moved from various departments and then observed him following a female customer into the women's departments. They observed the man as he crouched behind the woman and engaged in lewd behavior by inappropriately sniffing buttocks. What? Police eventually confronted the man and detained him. It was later revealed that he was Celeste Crowder, a resident of Glendale and a registered sex offender. Crowder is currently on active parole and has a documented history of similar arrests and crimes. He made national headlines in August of 2023 for committing the same act on a woman at a Barnes & Noble in Burbank, which was caught on video and led to a viral TikTok post. He was identified as the subject having been in several prowling crimes and was arrested the same month on allegations that he was peeping into the occupied homes of a family of Glendale. He was eventually released from custody for those crimes due to jail overcrowding issued, but was rearrested after he failed to register with local police. What? You could, if you come to my YouTube page, you could see the police blotter photo of him crouched behind a lady, and I don't know what he's doing. Dozens of women have come forward to recount their own experiences with the same suspect. The wife of former Los Angeles Laker forward Robert Horry also accused him of stalking their teenage daughter more than a decade prior. He needs to be put away for good, Candace Horry wrote on social media. Crowder also has a lengthy criminal record that includes convictions for burglary, robbery, indecent exposure, and he's been arrested for suspected additional prowling crimes in Glendale. He's currently in police custody as he waits charges for loitering with intent to commit a crime. His bail was set at $100,000 and is expected back to court August 1. I believe there may be additional victims and ask them to come forward. So if your butt has been sniffed, contact the Burbank PD Investigations Division, 818-238-3210. So you can also call and report an anonymous tip at 800-222-8477. If your butt has been sniffed, please come forward so they can get this serial butt sniffer, this gentleman right here. That reminds me of a cartoon character. I can't remember. He had like little green ears or something. Chris says he would probably be more effective as a butt listener with those ears. Yes. I'm not making fun of the guy. If you look at the picture, his crime scene photo, his ears are very prominent, and they remind me of a cartoon character. So, but a serious issue: if your butt has been sniffed in LA, please come forward. I was worried we weren't going to have enough stories for today, but somehow I think we do. Chuck E. Cheese mascot was arrested by Florida cops in full costume as kids look on. This comes to us from People magazine. Jermel Jones, an employee at the location, was charged with 3 felonies. Chuck E. Cheese, he committed a felony. He was arrested while in costume at Chuck E. Cheese in front of children at a birthday party, charged with 3 felonies: theft of a credit card, criminal use of personal identification information, and fraudulent use of a credit card over 2 times within 6 months. He allegedly used a woman's child support debit card for fraudulent charges. He was dressed as a Chuck E. Cheese mascot and was arrested at work for these alleged credit card fraud crimes. He was charged with 3 felonies, and we listed all of them, and he was arrested by the Tallahassee police on Wednesday, July 23rd, as children and family inside the Chuck E. Cheese location watched and on amid child's birthday party. He was identified after police entered the restaurant, and another employee confirmed they ratted him out. They ratted Chuck E. Cheese out. The arrest took place shortly after 6:30 p.m. local time, the 2800 block of Scherer Road in Tallahassee. CBS Miami reports photos and videos captured the shocking arrest. Went viral on social media, and the Tallahassee Police Department later had to confirm its authenticity. They walked over with the intention of just walking outside to put handcuffs him in public view. But when they approached him, he immediately tenses up and resists. So at that point, they make the decision to put him in handcuffs, keeping in mind the safety of our customers, but the suspect as well as the officers themselves. She then revealed that they did not have a specific policy on when to determine if arrests in public spaces are appropriate. They need a policy on that. You're a criminal. You get arrested. Following the arrest, a woman approached the officers at the scene and provided video evidence identifying him as the person who made fraudulent purchases and used her child support debit card. She told police that she last used the card June 28th during her child's birthday party at the restaurant. He initially denied using anyone else's card, but later confessed, he gave it up after he's been ratted out, that he sometimes uses his, quote, cousin's card. They also found a small amount of marijuana on Chucky. Chuck E. Cheese had marijuana on him. Oh, yeah. So he was booked and released on $1,000 bond. And people have reached out to Chucky to get a response. And, well, they just said they were aware of an incident involving a part-time employee arrested in Tallahassee. And we have taken the appropriate action concerning the subject and employees. Police have not reached out to us about any other information. So if you got anything you want to rat out on Chuck E. Cheese, just contact CPD. Whoa, what button did I push? I don't need none of that, whatever that is. All right. Oh, away. All right. I told Yergs about this one. Grime covered. This comes to us from the Times Entertainment, which I believe is the Times of India. A grime-covered Trump goes viral. The White House reacts and slams artist for shock life-size sculpture. So we have him as depicted as a cartoon character with a penis character in his pants. But a shocking red replica of Donald Trump sprang forward from a New York manhole titled "Make America Grime Again," turning a sewer into political theater. The sculpture, a waist-up suit-clad Trump with a peer-out rat. What? Wait, hold on. A waist-up suit-clad Trump with a peer-out rat. I don't know what that means. Sparked cheers, jeers, and viral moments, being quietly removed, installed in a full art attack by French street artist James Calmini near Trump Empire Building Zone, in the piece that was met with smirking responses from the White House Flattery disguised as insult. It's political satire. It's made public, less messy, and unforgettable, just like the headlines it produces. I don't see a rat, but a grime-colored, disturbing image, according to some. What does this country come to? I just don't understand. All right. Yeah, we're just gonna roll with it. Heck with it. We're almost at the top of the hour, but we'll continue with some silliness. Chris, I think you'll enjoy this. I'm completely terrified that the entire world is getting dumb and dumber, and these 50 incredible posts are all the proof that this person needs. All right, here we go. Yes, I agree, Chris. The big hair as blonde would have been funnier. Yeah. All right, Chris, do your math. Number one, on money making, this comes to us from Carpenter Ideas DIY. Saving 1 penny a day is $36,500 at the end of the year. Let that sink in. Okay. This is true post. I'm not making this up. On Pacifics, does it have to be a Pacific pen? Someone asked, and someone replied back, no, it needs to be an Atlantic pen. All right. Safety precautions. They blurred out the company name. Please ejaculate. This hurricane is serious. If you're in the area, leave. Hurry up and ejaculate. I'm not making this up. I swear I'm not.
I'm going to come.
Yes, I'm clear, Chris. It's only $3.65. But please ejaculate. The hurricane is coming. On to tsunami warnings. The U.S. National Weather Service posts a tsunami warning has been issued for the state of Hawaii due to 7.5 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Russia. This is an old post. I'm not saying this is real live news. And someone wrote, is no one questioning how an earthquake in Russia would affect Hawaii? Me thinks they are using a flat earth map, maybe. On disparities. Someone posted in the chat, I can't get past the chair being so wop-sided. Wop-sided. Someone replied, I've never heard of wop-sided, only lop-sided. And 4 people replied back, wop-sided. So it's a wop-sided chair. On cooking foods. Hi, friends. Has anyone seen canned cat foods? Hi, friends. Has anyone seen canned cat food spark if you warm it up in the microwave? I warm my cats up for 5 seconds. It takes to chill it off, and the sparks, sometimes I see it spark. I throw it out and won't give it to him, concerned that it's not fresh. Okay, so a lot of improper English there, but what they're saying is they put their canned cat food in the microwave to warm it up because, you want to give your furry friend warm food, not cold food. But when the can sparks in the microwave, they're concerned that it's not fresh and they throw it out and start over. This one comes to on your versus your. That one kind of gets me sometimes when they talk about that, because sometimes, well, somebody asks for on a Reddit post, I need male puppy name suggestions. And the first comment was, is it a boy or a girl? All right. On dolphins, someone posted, oh, this stupidity has to end. I wound up on a Wikipedia page that said dolphins are mammals. How the F can dolphins be mammals when they live in the ocean? Y'all let me know. Websites like Wikipedia misinform people. Dolphins are fish. Yes. Yes. Yes, they are. Number 10 on ancient humans. Shows fossil footprints show humans in North America more than 21,000 years ago. Someone reposted more like 2,100 years ago. The Earth isn't even 2,100 years old. Talking about the moon. Why is the moonlight so dim on the moon? stem on the moon. Chris, I agree. The country is finished. The country is finished. I just on beautiful growth of a plant, my chlamydia is in full bloom. Well then, show it off. Show it off. On hip hop, who's your favorite North American hip hop artist? J. Cole, Jay-Z, Drake, or other? And somebody replied, North America, Drake is from Canada. It's up north, but not American. Yeah. Talking about the alphabet, somebody posted on Amazon, they were missing a letter. Absolutely gutted. I've sat down and blown up all the letters to find that the extra D is missing, but haven't replaced the extra A. It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow, and now it won't be able to decorate it as I planned. Not happy at all. And it shows a picture of the balloons that that is horribly misspelled. Yes. The poor child is going to grow up not knowing how happy birthday is spelled. Honey is made by bees. It doesn't come for plants. And somebody replied, you will never live this down. Yeah. Let's see. This one. Now we'll skip that one. Someone wrote on light years. Your maths are broken, dude. Universe is 1,350 light years old, meaning humans have existed for 1,350 times 60 times 9.8 equals 8 hours or 8H 2713. Huh? So somebody replied back, metric is for the metric system. The name metric, I think we essentially agree, only that he is using an imperial system that works better for burgers. And then somebody replied back, light years is a unit for time, bro. I don't even understand how they even did the math on that. Customer gets to keep the mostly functional screwdriver and gets a replacement one. It's a constellation prize, but you're still jaded about received damaged goods. Mostly functional screwdriver. 5 plus 5 times 5 equals 30. Orders of operations exist, people. And somebody replied back, wrong. The correct answer is 50. See, 5 plus 5 is 10. And you times that by 5, that would be 50. Whereas they had it by 30. Don't post. Just don't post. If a photo is worth 1,000 words, here are 2 million. It posts pictures of a city. It says before and after. This person left their jaw hang. You can see the fog in the city, or the smog in the city, and then nothing there. And somebody wrote, it would be great if they used a picture that was current. Hello, Twin Towers. I can't, these people. And somebody replied on a eBay post, these are real numb trucks. They are real numb trucks for $28. You can buy your own personal weapons of destructions that are numb trucks for $28. And they are real. Speaking on birth, his parents lied on birth certificate. If you ever go missing, we found the corporate. And they were right. There's no effing way you just spelled certificate like that. Spelled, I couldn't even pronounce it. SITFIGERT. If you ever go missing, we found the corporate and culprit. People are really this stupid. I don't know. It's a bad day. Any bacteria, virus, or parasite that is smaller than 1 inch is not going to do anything to your body. Somebody replied back, an inch is like 2,500 centimeters, right? Pretty big bacteria, almost like a pet. Give up. Just give up. Go get you some numb trucks to eliminate it. Globalers trusting the science. Use your brain, people. If the earth was a globe, and it shows a picture, water flows to the lowest point, and it shows a big, blue, beautiful globe. water off the bottom. And the planet or the continents have risen to the top of the globe. Wouldn't it be sloshed around if you? Oh, never mind. I just leave it alone. All right, we'll get to something I might know something about on rescues. Oh, they rescued an enchilada after an eagle dropped him in the river. What? What? They rescued? I think I'm not sure what they're talking about, but I think it's a rabbit. I'm not sure. Oh, good Lord. Being born in 1989, the best advice you can get is from the older ones. How you perceive the advice and act on your own fault is lazy ass millennials. So I replied, but you're also a millennial. Replied, I am far from an effing millennial, believe me. Sunscreen as we know it is less than 50 years old. What did people do before that? They spent more time outdoors and gradually built up their defenses, and skin cancers were a fraction of today's numbers. What? On minutes in the hour, I may be broke, but I'm not 120 minutes broke. In line broke. Just say an hour and 20 minutes. Somebody replied back, the math ain't matting. 120 is 1 hour and 20 minutes. I may be broke, but I'm not. Oh, good Lord. Basic needs? Nah, I just need a girl who's hot and pet eat. Somebody replied back, what the F is pet eat? Like thin and shit. And they replied back, you mean petite. Damn, Napoleon, you get what I mean. Pet eat. I don't want a girl that's pet eat. This is Sportcat. Please don't be pet eat. Someone just referred to the 90s as the late 1900s, and I feel like I'm old. The late 1900s, assuming they said 1900s, would actually be referring to the dates from around 1870 to 1899. 1900 onwards is referred to as the 20th century. Petite, yes, Denny. It's just on the simple things, it's the small gestures. With the J. This probably isn't going over well for radio. Somebody says how MFers feel after saying 8:45 instead of 7:75. What? What? It shows a clock with, oh, never mind. I know a quarter is a fourth of an hour, but 7:45 should be 7:35. Quarter equals 25. 7:75. Buff dude replied on multiplication, I kissed 50 times more girls than you did. Me, 50 times 0 equals zeros. Somebody replied back, actually, if it's 50 times 0, it's still 50, but 0 times 50 is 0. Yeah. Old sun versus new sun, both taken a few years apart. Well, the sun does age, but I think you're looking at clouds and smog. Why are the police called 12? And somebody replied, 9 plus 1 plus 1. And then somebody replied to that, boy, that's 11. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 1 is 11. But the police are called 12, probably from the Adam 12 show, which is an old TV show. I have not used, this is talking about a TV. It's only 21 inches, not 24. I have not used it so far, but I'm giving rating just because it's not 24 inch. It is a 21 inch monitor, to which the company is claiming it's 24 inch. I assume that they didn't measure the screen, not the actual monitor. Somebody replied back on blood. I'm telling you, man, blood isn't blue. Someone replied, yes, it is. Look at your veins. What color do you see? Oh, let me ask you 3 questions. Why does blood come out red when you're injured? Somebody says it comes in contact with oxygen. Okay, what does blood do in your body? They replied, provides oxygen to organs. Okay, so when a liquid that turns red with oxygen carries oxygen throughout your body, what color would it be? And the army says blood is purple. Purple. Somebody posted on Amazon. Can somebody answer this for me? It shows a picture of a pair of scissors, and it shows another picture beside it with 2 pair of scissors. It says that this is a pair. What is this? And someone wrote, did y'all not go to, I'm assuming at school, SKML, LMAO. The first one is just one scissor / a scissor, while the second one is a pair of scissors. Someone wrote, I wish I had the confidence to be so wrong about something. All right, I got to stop because this is carrying on into something that it really 52 cents an hour. I'm looking for a babysitter ASAP, paying $125 per week. I'll provide all that is needed for the child's care. And somebody wrote, what are your hours like? 5 a.m. until 6 p.m. They wrote, okay, 52 cents an hour. Good luck. Picture of a lawnmower for sale, spelled lawn mower, $70. Not meant for educational purposes, and you have to have it. Stop lying to your children and yourself. Globes are not, and this is a warning from Walmart, globes are not meant for educational purpose, for decorative purposes. All right. I'm going to stop. I can't. Let's see here. 23 obsolete items that still exist. A blast from the past. Phone books. I didn't know if phone books still existed. Well, apparently they do. And you can still buy a new typewriter. AOL. Yeah, we just talked about that. AOL is still around. What the heck? I still have a map in my car. Some places in my state, it's still hard to get signal, and I don't want to be stuck. Well, it's good to have maps. Cowboys. I live in rural Idaho. I mentioned on a social media platform that electric vehicles would not be feasible for rural cowboys and farmers due to being so remote. Someone replied and told me there are no more cowboys, so stop lying. Trust me, we still have cowboys, and some go months without seeing other people. I saw a disposable camera just about 2 days ago when I was cutting through the electronic sections at Walmart. I was kind of surprised they still made them. I don't even know where you get them developed anymore because Walmart no longer even has a photo counter. Maybe Walgreens or something. Are we back in the days of mailing it off again and waiting 2 weeks like it's 1987? Yeah, I used to work at a 1 hour photo, but that's another story. Yes, Denise, such stupidity. Someone wrote, I have a Rolodex. I used to have one on my desk here. I think Tiny Terrorist took it. I bought it on Amazon of all places. Having experienced computer crashes and broken phones, I realized I still needed a hard copy of people's phones and address and phone numbers. I've had address books with pages representative of giving letter of the alphabet, but people move and change numbers. As my nieces have gotten married, they've changed his names. It makes more sense to have cards on a spindle that you can pull off and put back on again. If someone's information changes, you fill out a new card, put it back in. If you make a new friend named Smith, you put a card between a friend named Sloan and Stell. And that way you keep everybody in alphabetical order. Well, this sounds like a stupid idea, but a Rolodex, I had a little desk one. It wasn't a full-size Rolodex. It was just a little desk thing. And I did keep numbers on it because, honestly, if you had to call your parents or loved one right now in an emergency and you didn't have your cell phone, do you know their number? So it's always a good idea. I tell Mrs. Sportcat this, to write down the important numbers and put them on something you carry with you. Just write it down on a piece of paper, put it in your wallet, in your purse, or carry it somewhere in case your phone goes dead, there's no service, you lose your phone. Do you know all the numbers? I don't know my mom's number by heart. Hell, I don't even know if I know Mrs. Sportcat's number by heart. So you should always at least have the important ones written down somewhere. And it's a good idea as you're teaching your children to teach them addresses, phone numbers, because if they ever dial 911, yes, we can geolocate with GPS, but they need to know phone numbers and addresses. So it's a good idea. Denise says, I still have a phone book. I don't actually have a phone book. I just have it was a little, I guess the Tiny Terrorist ran off with it. I'll have to find another one, but yeah, it was just a little desk thing that sat there, and I just kept my important friends' phone numbers and stuff in and addresses. So I can never remember addresses. And KG, if you're listening, this one is for you. $2 bills. It says, I'm a middle-aged man now, but in the 80s, my parent got me one of those, made a big deal about it, saying how rare they were, how if I kept it would be worth a lot of money someday, and so on. So I believed them because, well, hey, they were my parents and the internet was not yet around. Let me check. Anyways, I guarded that thing with my life for years until I stumbled upon the fact that $2 bills are rarish. The Treasury still prints them off a few million every year. So there's probably tens of millions printed since that person got theirs, and they went out and spent it shortly. I've never gotten around to asking my parents if they were kind of effing with me or if they were legit thought the $2 bill might be worth something. I guess more than the latter, since they were not really the jokey ground type. I have several $2 bills, and I have a friend that he tips with $2 bills. It's a conversation piece. And yes, they still print them. You can go get them at your bank, fresh printed ones. Magnetic tape and cassettes still exist and are being produced, albeit not in the formats common people were accustomed to. Magnetic tape is still the cheapest and longest lasting data storage medium. Very true. I don't know that I have a cassette player anymore. Cursive. Yes. Cursive. Yes, you can't kill cursive. They don't teach it at the kids' school because now it's a mystique and kids actually beg for it. My oldest 5th grade teacher basically offered teaching cursive as a reward to the class for good behavior. Other teachers teach it because our kids insist on writing it. They can't read bad cursive as easily as they can read trained cursive. It's so funny, no longer practical, but kids genuinely like it. So it lives forever. We need to be able to read cursive because a lot of the old documents are written in cursive, and we don't want to get to the point where we have an elder translate and read documents for us because they're in cursive. We've reported on this. Payphones do still exist, but they are pretty rare. TV, yes, you can still get a TV, put up a set of rabbit ears, and get signal. A lot of people don't realize that. So in case of emergency, you should probably have a TV somewhere that you can plug in, put on batteries, and pop on a TV. I have one in a closet, actually, that probably has never been turned on. It's just a little, I don't know, 8 or something inch screen, black and white. It may be color. I don't know. I've never turned it on, but I have it. You can pull the antenna out and turn it on, and I'll get WSB channel 2 and all the local channels. So checks. A lot of grown adults have never seen one. This is so true. My daughter, I asked her, I said, I'm not going to be here. I need you to write a check for something that's coming. And she's like, well, I've never written a check. What? Oh, wait, what? So I had to educate her real quick. It's pretty simple. And you don't have to use cursive. Pagers, in fact, are still available. Yes, and a lot of emergency services and healthcare do use them. So you can still get a pager. Somebody wrote, I had a coworker who scoffed at the notion of new manual transmission cars. She was surprised when I told her their 2020 Crosstrek is a 6-speed. Standard transmissions are not going anywhere. Yes, you have certain vehicles that you can put in to drive like a stick shift. Now, it is not like the old days where you had to push the clutch in and manually shift. I miss those days. I don't even know if they make a vehicle like that. Telegrams, he said I was still talking with a Cuban immigrant, and he said the only way he could communicate with his family back in Cuba faster than mail was by telegram. Yes, they still exist, and you can create your own Cuban telegraph online and pay with it Google Wallet. Well, if you're into amateur radio, you can also use Morse code to communicate around the world. Boeing uses floppy disk to update flight software that is critical to safe operation. Yes, they do. Carbon paper was needed before the copier machines, but yet you can still buy it in craft stores. Fax machines are still in use. Yes, they are. Dot matrix printers. What? I don't think I've seen one of them. Some people say, I wish I had my old iPod. They still make MP3 players with headphone jacks and ample storage and everything. Streaming services suck, so I still buy albums and load them onto my MP3 player. Then I don't have to use my phone battery listening to music on the go. Yeah, it's a good idea. But by the way, internet radio does not suck. Please continue to listen. Let's see. Is there anything you wish to add to this list? And share it anonymously in the below forum. It wants your age and location and name. Great. Hey, it has our email address up there. How the hell did it get that? I didn't give it that. Good Lord. See, they're watching all the time. So they're watching you. You can do it anonymously, but it wants your name and address. All right. Let's see here. This was about an app. Was this about an app? I don't know. People are sharing the oddly specific things that give them bad vibes. And this one wrote an article about this. No, I'm not going to do that one. 12 forgotten foods. This one kind of threw me off. It says 12 forgotten foods boomers love that Gen Z has never tasted. And the first one that popped up, tomato aspic, a savory gelatin made from seasoned tomato juice set on rings or domes served chilled. It once crowned buffet tables with pride, often garnished with celeries or olive. Its texture was bold, its flavor surprisingly refreshing, though it faded as gelatin moved firmly into the sweet dessert category. I have never had that. Talking about eating TV dinners in aluminum trays. Yes, I've done that. Who hasn't done that? Pineapple upside down cake. Now, come on. Pineapple upside down cake is pretty dang good. Spam with glaze. I've grilled it. I've fried it. It's okay. Liver and onions. Oh my God. My aunt used to make that. Oh, cheese balls rolled in nuts. Why would you ruin a cheese ball by putting it in nuts? All right. So does anybody remember tomato pudding? Was that what that was? This is a pretty good idea for an app if you're a female. It's come under some heat, but it's the number one in the App Store on both Android and Apple. It's called Share the Tea, I believe. And it's for women, a women-only safety app. And it's for people that want to go in and share information about people in unsafe things. Of course, they're coming under some heat because, people are posting their comments on there and sometimes they may not be right. So, but it's a good idea. I think I like that safety app for women that it uses your location and gives you information. So Denise says it sounds more like gazpacho. I don't know that I've had that either, Denise. So, all right, we need to, this guy's in jail, a TikToker with 1.6 million followers is facing felony charges after he led a month-long crime spree across Arizona with pranks. And apparently he came in as pranks, but he would show up at work, and this one actually happened, I know, in Tennessee, and pretend that it was his first day on the job. He was hired, and he would film it and make a TikTok about it. And he got caught. So, and I don't even know. The fridge cigarette is a trend where people have something to, it's more than a beverage. It's ritual, just like a traditional smoke break. It's a symbolism marked with specific gestures, opening the fridge, choosing the can, and hearing the click of the tab, listening to the fizzy crackle of the bubbles, and enjoying its first icy sip. All that adds up to an intense, brief sensory experience, then becomes a comforting object, one that marks a shift from anxiety to calm, or simply offers a personal moment in the middle of a chaotic day. It's the perfect example of how Gen Z interprets the past practice, in this case smoking, with a fresh and iconic and somewhat healthy twist: the fridge cigarette. It's a Diet Coke. All right. I need to get to what we normally do here before we get in trouble. We're running out of time. It is currently in Australia. It's 4:23 a.m. And in Perth, it is 2:23 a.m. And we've rambled and babbled too much today. Let's see if there's anything really serious in the world today. FEMA doesn't think so because they hadn't updated as of yet. Nope. So we don't have a FEMA daily update. So they don't think anything too serious is going on. That's good. Our president, commander-in-chief, well, you know what happens when you're the commander-in-chief? You get great weekends, right? Well, 7 a.m. out-of-town pool camera time because, well, they're flying off. He departed the White House at 8 a.m. en route to Tunbury, Scotland from Joint Base Andrews. And he departed Andrews at 9:48 at 3:21 or 3:20. An hour from now, the president will arrive in Turnberry, Scotland. It'll be 8:20 p.m. local time, and he's only taking out-of-town press. And then tomorrow, he's going to be having no public events, and the out-of-town press pool is given a wake-up time of 5 a.m. local to follow the president, even though he has no public events scheduled. Sunday, he has no public events scheduled either. So he's headed to Scotland. Let's go to NBC4 Washington and see if we can get any live updates to what exactly is going on in Washington and with the president, because, well, you know, we all want to know. Well, they're still talking about that Jeff guy. Oh, somebody seems to mention pardoning Janine Maxwell, who's currently serving a 20-year sentence for help facilitating some of the sex abuse charges. And their attorney told reporters outside of a court in Tallahassee that his client has been treated unfairly for more than 5 years and has no reason to lie in answering these questions. So Trump is using his Scotland trip to show off Trump-branded golf destination. There we go. That's why he's going to Scotland. He's showing off his Trump-branded golf destinations as he becomes increasingly comfortable intermingling with the governing pursuits, promoting his family business interests. Yes, so he's going to be off talking about his Trump destination. All right. In Florida, they begin deportations out of Alligator Alcatraz. Okay. And the DOJ says Maxwell is being questioned. Well, and it's apparently day 2 of questioning. So they're not commenting as to what she's saying, but apparently they have been questioning her. The assistant district attorney, the assistant DOJ attorney. And Trump stated his European Commission to hold talks in Scotland on Sunday. Well, I guess he's going to do some talking and work while he's over there. He says they are the nation's and America's largest trading partner. Let's see. Florida governor acknowledges deportation flights from Alligator Alcatraz, and judge has granted temporary restraining over anti-DEI transgender restrictions. A federal judge in Rhode Island has granted a temporary restraining order against the federal government's latest restrictions on grants that target diversity, equity, and inclusion in people who are transgender. U.S. District Court Judge Melissa DeBose issued an order on Thursday after a coalition of nonprofit groups in 14 states filed a lawsuit earlier this week against the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and Housing and Urban Development. That's a mouthful. The group largely aids victims of sexual assault and domestic violence, homelessness, and foster care. According to the complaint, President Donald Trump adopted new policies blocking nonprofits from receiving HHS and HUD grants unless they can verify that the money goes to not promote DEI or gender ideology. Recipients would also be blocked from funding promoting elective abortions. Plaintiffs say they will soon submit a proposal with the precise scope. Okay. Newsom and Pritzker are going to meet in Texas. Well, okay. And there are dozens of dead kills and still missing from Central Texas, but Donald Trump is focused on manipulating elections himself, according to Texas Representative Raphael Antia and Texas Governor Newsom. Okay, so let's see. This is old news. And Trump says he hasn't thought about pardoning her. So, well, okay, then. I don't know that anybody has thought about that. And disgraced former New York Representative George Santos is set to begin his 7-year fraud sentence. And with the Scotland golf trip, he leverages his power of the office and reaps profits for his family. All right. So there you go. There you go. Trump's in Scotland promoting his, well, you know, his family's business efforts. Hey, you got to make a living once you get out of office, right? What? Oh, well. All right. So we'll go to the Weather Prediction Center. This comes to us since we don't have the FEMA update. We will use the National Weather Service one. And we can see they are predicting today heavy rain and flash flooding is possible. Pretty much Kansas, Missouri, all the way to Illinois and Indiana. And they're looking at some specific areas for severe thunderstorms in the Dakotas and up along the East Atlantic coastline from Pennsylvania up to New Hampshire, possibly into Maine there. So some severe rains and flooding. The rest of the country on the east side of the Mississippi is going to have some spotty showers. And, well, we're going to talk about that heat because, well, the heat's here. We're going to get a little break, but in the south, yeah, it's going to get much worse. Next week is going to be even hotter in the south and the southeast. We're looking here at the forecast today for tornadoes. And they're saying there's a slim chance up in North Dakota at the Canadian border. They're expecting some high winds along the Atlantic coastline, though, from the Chesapeake Bay up to Nova Scotia. And then extending inward pretty much all of West Virginia and over into Illinois and Indiana. Some high winds are expected in the Dakotas, but nothing bad. And there's in the central part of the country, some high winds, but none as significant as those along the East Coast. And the only chance of hail today would be right at the Canadian border, and it's a slim chance in the Dakotas. So those are the areas to watch for severe storms today. Let's take a quick gander here at the radar, and we'll go, no, stop it. We will go to our friends down in Australia first, since we've talked so much American stuff. Australia, we can see that off of the Gold Coast there's some spotty showers, but they're making their way inward, and they're coming inland there just below Sydney and Canberra in the south coast there. You're getting a little bit of the southern states, a little bit of drenching rain along the coastline, but that's going to extend upwards into the northeast. I have to think about my geography because I haven't got town names yet. Some of those could be some strong storms, but they will be spotty, but it will be windy today in Australia. Let's zoom out and go over to our friends in the United States, and we will see that little storm down in the Atlantic or Gulf of America is still spinning around, causing a little bit of trouble. It's now causing more trouble to Texas down on the coastline in the Gulf of America. If we look up here to the northeast, we see in Massachusetts and up in Bangor some heavy rain showers extending up into Nova Scotia. And over into Springfield, Illinois, they got some heavy rains coming down there, and it is moving to the northeast. In the southern Appalachians, we've got some spotty showers coming down on the west side, all the way down into Knoxville and the northeast Georgia mountains. And then we look at lower Alabama and Mississippi from that little storm that's still splashing around, making a bit of a wave down in the Gulf Coast. California, dry currently. You saw a little bit of spotty showers yesterday. Alaska on your southern coast. On your southern coast, you're still getting some rain at this time. So keep your eyes open. Let's look at the severity. If there's any severe weather, we see a lot of the map here is starting to get this heat advisory. And we talked about this for several days. It's going to go straight up the Mississippi. There's a wedge. That wedge has gotten smaller. So it's kind of now pushing along the Appalachians from pretty much Pennsylvania down to the Gulf. That area is going to be cooler. You're only going to get a break for a little bit. So everybody on the East Coast, especially the Northeast, you're going to have some severe heat from what you're used to. So if you're up in the New England area, be prepared. It's going to have some severe heat for you guys. What we consider severe here in the South is much different, but you all will have some extreme heat for the next several days. That little wedge is going to break because there's a cold front coming down out of Canada that's going to push that down into the south. And so we're going to have the southeast in the northeast Atlantic. Next week will be hot. And they're talking in some areas of the deep south, triple digits on the east side of the Mississippi. So be prepared, be hydrated, have a place to stay cool. I know sunscreen is good idea, especially if you're going to be outside for long periods of time, but shade and shelter is the best choice. And we're looking at storm down off of the coast of Corpus Christi. It's still just spinning there, causing some heavy rain. Up in the Dakotas, all the way down, extending through the Great Lakes into Chicago, there's an air quality alert. And I'm going to assume when we look at that, that's probably going to be from the smoke. Red flag warnings over in in Oregon, extending into California and parts of Idaho. So it's extremely dry out there and warm. We'll go to weatherwarning.com, wxwarn.affirmatech.com, actually. And we'll look and see what currently we have. Some small craft advisories along the coastal waters. That's for Guam. Let's see. Missouri, flood warning. Pennsylvania, West Virginia, severe thunderstorm. Severe thunderstorm up in Maine warning. You have 55 minutes left on it. Missouri, flood warnings. Pennsylvania, West Virginia, severe thunderstorms warnings. And it's going to last for another hour and a half, according to the most updated one. Connecticut, you have a severe thunderstorm warning in Litchfield, and as well as Massachusetts and New York. It's going to be upper state severe thunderstorm warning Those are going to last for the next 20 minutes or so. So be aware of that. Flood warnings are going to continue for about the next 24 hours. Missouri, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and let's see, New Jersey, you have a severe thunderstorm warning right at the Pennsylvania border in Sussex for about the next 40 minutes. Illinois, be advised you're going to have some floods today. So you have a flood warning for about the next 15 hours. And let's see, we talked about Pennsylvania, West Virginia, severe thunderstorm warnings, as well as Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New York, severe thunderstorm warnings. A lot of those are updated quickly, so make sure to have your weather radio nearby. You can also download an app and listen to the local NOAA weather. They broadcast for free. If you know how to listen to it, you can tune into them. It's a good idea to have a NOAA radio to check them out for alerts and be prepared just in case lights go out or you're stuck in a storm. Let's take a look at some of these storms real quick with the electrical activity. And we look down here, man, the South is still getting hammered. Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, still some thunderstorms. You look down at going into Houston, those are about to come on shore, even down to Corpus Christi. We look over here towards the Gulf Coast, Mobile, Pensacola, Panama City, Tallahassee, spotty thunderstorms, but those off of the shore in the Gulf of America are going to whip around and come up there. So be advised it's coming. Up here where we had the severe thunderstorms, it looks like just south of Wheeling. What is the town name here? It is getting hammered going over into Indiana. All the way, in Ohio, extending all the way over to Columbus. But that cell right on the West Virginia-Ohio border is pretty intense. Seek shelter, and I'm sure there's probably some warnings in there that you need to be aware of. We'll slip up to the New England coastline. I'm trying to do this in a hurry, guys. I'm sorry, we talked too long. We look here in New York, up at the Jersey, where is this? Up at the Jersey border, there's some severe cells. If you live in Cheshire, Waterbury, we're talking about New York, there are some severe storms right now ongoing, and Woodbury. Zoom out. In Vermont, you look pretty good. Boston, you have a pretty good size cell right now in the Boston metropolitan area, extending back to Worcester. That's going to continue to hammer you as it moves to the northeast. So expect that what's coming down here is going to be moving up into the Boston area. Oh, Denise says, what about New York? And you should never mind. Okay, well, did I miss you, Denise? I'm sorry. We'll skip down here to the New York area. Right now, you're clear on the radar, except for over to the west. That's really towards Bangor. So you're pretty safe now in the metropolitan New York area. But up in the northern part of the state, they're getting a little bit of lightning activity. Let's look at power outages real quick while we do this. And let me update this because this is probably not very accurate. Well, they're not showing anybody with greater than 10,000 people without power in the lower 48. So that's good news, but I don't anticipate for that to stay. All right. Look here, temperatures currently. Let's zoom out first and go down to our friends in Australia since we have missed talking about them. It is still fairly cool down there. If you look at Sydney, it's 56 degrees right now. We're talking in degrees. I'm sorry, guys and gals, not Celsius. 50 in Brisbane. But that little cold front down on the southern part of the continent, down towards Adelaide, Melbourne, it's going to be pushing up and causing a little bit of cool rain coming through the central part of the country. It's 42 currently in Alice Springs. And over on the west coast in Cameroon, it is 41 in Perth, 53 in Broome. Over to the United States. Denise, I'm sorry, I didn't get to you quick enough. My bad. I apologize. Right now, Denise, I can tell you that it's really hot in New York. The current temperature in New York City is about 94 degrees. So you're having a hot day up there, Denise. 93 in Allentown, 95 Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Up in Burlington, it's a warm 76. If you're in Boston, well, it's 89 degrees. Denise, you're right where that wedge is pushing that heat wave to the mid-Atlantic. Down in Washington, D.C., it's 94. Virginia Beach, Suffolk area, it's 91 degrees. Yeah, to me, well, what's really bad is that a lot of people don't realize, especially in the cities, the humidity is worse. So what it feels like is actually worse. Whew. So, all right, Atlanta, you're 89 where I'm at. Jackson, Mississippi, 88. and 91 in Montgomery. It looks like Phoenix is going to be the winner for the hot spot right now. It's currently 101 degrees in Phoenix. Ooh, they say it's a different kind of heat. Well, I'm sure it is. Las Vegas, 93, Denver, 87. Up in Seattle, you're getting a reprieve again. It's 61. Portland, 70. Drop down to San Francisco, 61. So, yes, the humidity is off of the chart, and it's not the corn sweat. Yeah, the humidity is that's what makes in the mid-Atlantic and then further to the southeast you get so unbearable is the humidity. Everybody's like, oh, well, the temperatures, it's in the 70s or 80s. Well, yeah, but what's the humidity? What's it feel like? We'll go up to Anchorage, and they are a cool 55 degrees with it's a little bit of spotty showers there today. And we go down to where we're building up troops on the island. It's 56 right there in the Bering Sea. So, yes, you did hear me correctly, where we are building up troops. We'll zoom in on the continent in Africa and see what the hottest there is. Oh, it's 101 in Sabra, and we'll skip over to the Middle East and 105 in Basra. So it's really interesting. Phoenix is hotter than the Middle East currently. Usually you'll see temperatures there in the higher triple digits. So, all right, let's hop out of this real quick because I want to make sure we get through some of this stuff. Heat risk, lower 48, we're going to get hammered today. If we see this all the way down from up, Denise, where you're at, move this over. Yeah, all the way up from New York down through the basically the Outer Banks, extending inland almost to Atlanta, basically the right side or the east side of the Appalachia from New York, really Pennsylvania, down to the seaboard in the northeast over by the Outer Banks. Extreme heat. They're code red, which means that anyone needs to have cooling, hydration, and be prepared to get too hot. If we look over right on the other side of the Appalachia into Ohio, extending into Illinois, St. Louis, down across Kentucky, upper Tennessee, middle Tennessee, West Tennessee, Arkansas, you're still in code red. But pretty much most of the Northeast, most of the Southeast in the Gulf Coast is under a code orange, which means people who are sensitive, especially those that don't have any type of cooling or hydration, need to really be aware, because as Denise and I were chatting, it's not just the heat, the humidity gets to you as well. So be prepared. Let's see, zoom out, and really up in the Dakotas is the other area where they're concerned about. Montana, North Dakota, parts of Minnesota, you can be concerned about code orange up there. So be careful. That wedge is going to come down from Canada, and it's going to drive this heat, Denise, right on top of the South in the mid-Atlantic. And here in Atlanta, we're going to get hammered. So we'll take a quick look at the big, beautiful, round, perfect globe with the wind AI. And, well, we can see that's part of the problem right now is in the lower 48, there's not much wind coming out of the Atlantic into the Gulf. So that's part of the reason that stagnant air is sitting there and causing the heat. There's a disturbance coming down from Canada that hopefully is going to change that a little bit for the center of the country, but yeah, not so much for the South and the mid-Atlantic. It's going to be hot. Look over into Australia, and we'll see that little front spinning off of the southern coast is extending inland and creating some wind, but it's only really making it to about Alice Springs. So it'll be a slightly windy, chilly day with scattered showers for our friends in Australia. All right, I'm trying to go quick because I talked too long. We'll look at current drought conditions. And the only reason I highlight this was updated yesterday, but I want to make sure everybody knows that onto the west side of the Rockies, they're still experiencing drought and severe drought situations with the heat that's creating the red flags. If you look over on the east side here of Mississippi, there's not too much of a drought except for in larger metropolitan areas, and believe it or not, right down by the Keys in Miami. So the heat is going to change that outlook for next week. Air quality alert. Yeah, there is some. This will have to update because it's pixelated at the moment. But up in the Dakotas, you've got that code red for your air, code orange. It's really poor air quality up in the Dakotas. and that's probably extending down from the fires in Canada, even though all the way down into Chicago, parts of, it's extending down into New York. It's a code yellow as far as air quality days. So in addition to the heat, you have the bad air quality. So good air is this 0 to 50 particulates. Moderate is 51 to 100. Unhealthy, well, you're hitting 101 to 150. And past that, you're getting into very unhealthy and very extreme hazardous conditions. But most of Florida, you're looking at moderate air conditions. Up in the Dakotas, extending to the south, Minnesota, Milwaukee, Chicago, Illinois, all that area is going to be affected by this smoke. Denise, you all have the poor air quality in general. So, the interactive air map quality there, come on, is not very good. Let's see if this will pull it up. Yes, it does. And it shows us these are the wildfires. I'll zoom in on the lower 48 and show you again more concise. But if you look at the winds, these fires coming on the other side of the Rockies, extending up over Denver, that smoke is meeting with the smokes coming out of Calgary. And, well, it's going to be kind of being pushed across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, and outward. It's going to go towards Boston, New England area, out to the coast. But that is the cause for the poor air quality in the north, is the center of the country. Northwest is because of the fires from the Rockies, west of the Rockies, and the Canadian fires. Let's see here. I got a better look at the fires. I wish we had our data from FEMA, but if we zoom out, we see, and Canada is burning. And they have this problem every summer. I really need to follow more if it's just natural or man-made, but they have so much fire going on up there. We see on the west of the Rockies, main areas of fire now are Oregon, Washington, a few up in Northern California. But if we look down here in the Las Vegas, Phoenix, Arizona, just the western side of Colorado, that side of the plateau is getting some serious code red and some serious fires. So the little dots that are in red mean that the satellites have spotted something. It could be as simple as a house fire, or it could be a small brush fire. Denise will zoom in here because I don't normally see one on the island, but they are reporting. What is this? That won't let you click on it. Plainview, that's off in Brooklyn. It's got a small one reported. Elizabeth, Edison, there's some fires reported, but they're not. Yeah, here we go. It just gives you longitude and latitude. It doesn't really tell you much about it. So there's small fires hopefully being extinguished. And we look down, even when you get into Washington, D.C., if I can zoom in here, you see even down in there, you'll see small red dots indicating small fires. Like I said, it could be something as simple as a house fire, but it's, as it says, it's bright scan track. So it's just registering the light. So it could be anything from a house fire to a small brush fire. Let's look at the air quality worldwide. And that dust coming out of the Sierra is still coming across the Atlantic, coming up into the Gulf of America and extending inward, where it's going pretty much up the Mississippi with that little front that's causing so much heat along the Mississippi. We look here and they show a gives us the smoke. So one with that a data quality. We might make it through part of this today. And let's see here. Well, let me zoom into Alice. There's just spinning up on the go coast, right down on top of you guys and gals in the Golden Coast from the fires up in the northwest. All right, let's take a real quick at the event list of what's going on in the past 24 hours around the world. Because we only got about 10 minutes left. We're only going to hit the highlights of anything important that's pretty much dated past couple days. Let's see. We've talked about the people getting injured by sharks, and we've talked about Nigeria. Let's see. First human case of West Nile was reported in DuPage. All right, that's new. It's in North America. King County reported a West Nile. That's in Washington. One dead from a listeria outbreak in Ireland. And they've updated the daily count of fevers to 150 in Nigeria, where they're battling a disease down there. Let's see. Social incidents. Morocco. Cyber leaks and scandals rock Morocco's political establishment. Okay, not anything familiar with that. I am aware that Thailand and Cambodia is going at it right now. So that's to be updated. I haven't followed up more, but Thailand and Cambodia apparently are shooting pop shots at each other. Everybody just get along. Stop it. We got enough of that going on in the world. See, 2 dead, 1 injured in a Montebello apartment complex. I'm not sure. Montebello. It's not Virginia, is it? Where do I get more info? Source? It gives me that. What is this? Montebello, condo attack. Okay, California. 2 people are dead and 2 others were injured after an attack Thursday in Montebello that police described as a case of domestic violence. Police said they were called to an apartment complex on Lowhart Avenue at approximately 2:34 a.m. for unknown circumstances. They discovered a man who had died behind the apartment complex. They did a sweep of the entire building and found another person who had died also inside the apartment. Initial reports identified the fatal victims as a minor, but was later confirmed to have been an adult. They found a woman and a girl with severe head injuries. The woman and the girl were taken to the hospital in critical condition. The suspects and victim are related. Appears to be a case of domestic violence. That's horrible. Denise loves your show. Well, thank you, Denise. I appreciate that. Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing. Well, not just on the show, but life in general. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate that. I really do. That makes me feel good. Thank you. 5 die in a crash. 5 cash in transit suspect is shot dead. Okay, 5 cash in suspects. Okay, it must be the name of the crime. 5 cash in transit suspects shot dead by police in Johannesburg. In Australia, a man shot, stabbed, and hit with a hammer in a home invasion. That's horrible. And we talked about the ambush of police officers in Ohio. And Palestine, Ukraine. Yeah, we know they're going at it. I wish they'd stop. Now we're going to add Thailand to that. Uruguay has got a powerful new threat to its palm trees, which is a tiny red bug. I wonder if it's ladybugs. All right. Let's see. Toxic algae is lingering off South Australia, killing marine life. Russian Federation, a deadly gas leak blasts apartments in Russia. Ukraine, we know there's been many explosions. Syria, yeah, we know. This one I didn't see. United States explosion destroys a gas station in Berwyn. Fire burns for hours, according to officials. Let's look at that real quick. United States, an explosion destroys a gas station in Berwyn, which is in where? Where's Berwyn? Illinois. Okay. An explosion and fire destroyed a gas station. Well, I guess I should have zoomed down. Look at the map, dummy. An explosion and fire destroyed a gas station Thursday in the western suburbs. Video showed a large emergency response and flames shooting out of a BP gas station located at Ogden and Oak Park in Berwyn. Fire was initially put out after multiple hours. City officials said crews were already here on the scene before the blast, tending to storm damage when the 2 main gas lines caught fire. Berwyn police confirmed emergency crews responded to an active fire around 3:42 p.m. This would be yesterday, after a thunderstorm blew down power lines, which ignited 2 gas lines at the station. The police department sealed off the area, and wow. So yeah, it was pretty good. It just shook apparently the whole area in the explosion. Thank God there were no serious injuries. Yes. Let's see. Australia, Perth airport kitchen fire. Perth airport kitchen fire results in evacuations of hundreds of passengers from Terminal 1, causing flight delays. 4 killed, including 3 children and 1 child in a house fire in South Louisiana. 3 firefighters were hurt in Manchester, battling a blaze. Manchester, New Hampshire. Bulgaria, fire in Saviti Vilas Resort destroys 22 cars and forces evacuation of 83 people. Fire in the Gaza, Russian, we know all about that. It's a sad world we live in where there's so many incidents like that. Let's see. They're still monitoring the Spur volcano. That's probably going to pop off and be something big. Power outage affects Key Biscayne. That's down in Key West. So there's a power, but we didn't see that on our power outage map. 6 dead, 2 critical in a school in India that has collapsed. 3 injured in a facade wall collapse at a furniture store in Jericho Turnpike in Queens. All right. Pakistan, a roof collapse kills 1. Let's see. Another blast in Afghanistan kills multiple. Plane crashes. Russia, we talked about. Fire on board a ship in Iceland. All right. So that's in Iceland. There's a fire on board a ship. Philippine Sea, the cyclone is active. In China, the cyclone is active. We talked about droughts and the extreme rain. Asia is getting some extreme rain due to the cyclones. All right, we've only got a few minutes left here, so we'll just hit the highlights here. And we see we're talking about that cyclone. Yeah, it's really out there battering Guam, but if we look to its west, we see, well, Taiwan's getting a little bit of break, not for long though, but it's coming inshore there on Japan, causing some cyclone activity and serious flooding. Let's see, this is 15 new reports. Well, yeah, there's lots of reports of things. This is, you can go to disasteralert.pdc.org. Great site, gives you some graphics. You can see where most recent alerts are and zoom out and then zoom in to look at different things. Like, for instance, down in Florida, there's talking about the drought while they're talking about severe thunderstorms up in New England. You reach over into the plains area and they're talking about flooding. And then you go back over to the west, there's not only drought, but there's fire. Drop down to Australia real quick and see Madagascar. Well, there's some flooding down in Madagascar. We look on the southern side, Melbourne. Well, you can expect some flooding conditions. Wind through the Newcastle area and then up into the northeast. Wildfires and some, well, heavy rains, but some wildfires up into the northwest in the Northern Territory. But this map is a pretty good graphic if you go check it out at Disaster Alerts. It's updated, but the only thing I don't like is, let's say, for instance, I want to know about this right here. Well, this is 2 days ago, but it was updated 6 hours ago talking about severe heat. I wish that we could somehow, we probably can, do a filter on it and get something that's more timely. So updated 4 minutes ago, heavy storms in Italy, San Jose, a large wildfire, thunderstorms in Winnipeg. You can see all the most recent alerts updated by time and day, but they extend this map back, the visual back, several days, which is kind of, when you're looking at it in a hurry, you'll pull something up and think, oh, well, that's happening right now, but no, it's actually a couple days old. Latest earthquakes, let me update this. And China had a 4.7. It was the most recent one that was significant. Let's go to this other one. This one gives us more updated information quickly. Oh, I said it did. All right. Let's see. 2 hours ago, almost 3.5 in Turkey. And we talked about 7 hours, 40 minutes ago, the 5.2. And you scroll this way, dum-dum. Maybe, yes. Yeah, there you go. Why is it still lit up like that? Well, that's because you pushed the wrong button. Yeah, don't give me technology. You don't ever know what happens, kids. So, yeah, that was the most significant one. Doesn't look like there was any in the United States, and I don't see any for Australia. So, no earthquakes for you guys and gals, which is good news. No volcanic activity, even though they're monitoring the spurs out in the Arctic Gulf, or not Gulf, Arctic Sea out there. They're still monitoring those volcanoes, and they may predict that one on the coast of Oregon is probably going to go at any time. So, all right, we'll jump over. Oh, we're really running out of time. New England Fire Net. Nothing here real quick. I don't think. They got a big fire in Connecticut, Massachusetts. How old are these? 14, 15. Okay, so that's the most recent one. 2-story wood frame structure in Connecticut. They have a fire, and that can't be right. It's not that time yet. MVA in Chesterfield, New Hampshire, a structure fire. You can go to New England FireNet and check that out. All right, I am out of time, guys and gals. I didn't get a chance to tell you. End of watch for a police officer, Philip C. Wagner with the Lorain, Ohio Police Department. We didn't get a chance to talk about any of that, but we will try and cover that first of the week. I will be back tonight live with the update from the Big Brother show. And it's called Big Brother Unlocked. It'll be Harley and I talking about it. They're reviewing the past 25 seasons. If by chance it's not on Yerg's Radio or Radio X in Australia, Dare Media, you can come over and find it on the YouTube channel, which is the Para R Normal, 3 words, and guys spelled with a Z. And if you want to send me anything, you can send it to sportcat@protonmail.com. And you can also go to Facebook and find the Sportcat's Daily Gazette page. We are trying to get monetized. We have the hours, but we do not have the subscribers. So I really, really, really need you guys to come over. I need 250 more to get to 1,000 subscribers. It seems like a big goal to me at the moment. But if you can come over and find us on YouTube, Para R Normal, 3 words, guys spelled with a Z, I would greatly appreciate you coming over and subscribing. It would help me out so much. And of course, thank you, Denise, for the kind words. I do appreciate it. Some days you feel unwanted and like you're just talking to yourself. We're trying to grow here. I know there are things we need to work on. So if you want to submit comments and help submissions, please do. But until next week, if you're only listening to the Daily Gazette, I will see you Monday at the normal time on the normal places. But if you get a chance, come over and check out the Big Brother show tonight on YouTube, and hopefully it'll be on all the Yerg's radios. Until we meet again, everybody have a great weekend. Be safe, stay hydrated, stay cool. Catch you soon. Sportcat is out.